do, they romanticize the army. Каждый фильм всегда включает в себя килинку. Always America, like end of the world, America. War, America. Beton qilib yozilib qo'ygan o'sha miyalarga. About who gets control in the narrative and who gets silenced.
Har bir mahallada Duv-Duv gap.
Hammaga salom. Qalaysizlar odamlar? Sizlar bilan uzoq vaqt ko'rishmayapmiz, lekin bugungi mavzumiz kinolardagi propaganda. Propaganda o'zbek tilida propaganda bo'ladimi bilmayman, но помидорda. Долго research делала на эту тему, но я не буду ничего там citing, blighting делать, потому что kimga kerak uchun o'qimaydi, но просто не доверьте, ладно, если нет, то Google'dan qidiringlar. And my intention is not to make you hate movies, but to make you think a little bit. What is propaganda? Пропаганда — это когда типа чел за твоей спиной говорит всякую фигню, да, но убеждает всех остальных, что он жертва. Israel. So basically it's a deliberate manipulation of information to influence mass attitudes, especially about controversial topics. So if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it all the time, eventually people will start believing it. This is what the chief propagandist for the Nazis said. So he wasn't lying, guys. You might be thinking, oh, I'm too woke for this propaganda shit. It's not gonna work on me, bro. Chill. It's gonna work on you and you will not even notice it because everything is so thought through. Like propaganda through movies, genius. Почему пропаганда именно в фильмах классно? Потому что во время фильма вы смотрите, и это entertainment. Из-за того, что вы слишком заняты этой историей или эмоцией, там кто-то умирает, это you let your guards down, and then you let this whatever thought or ideology that they have in the movie seep into your subconscious mind. So you won't even notice that you're being fed information. Birinchi bo'lib o'zbek kinolardan boshlaylik. Каждый фильм всегда включает в себя килинку. Почему-то boshqa narsa atrofida kino bo'la olmaydi. Именно kelin bo'lmasa, to ma'no yo'q bo'ladi kinoda. Я не отрицаю, zo'r o'zbekcha kinolar bor. Lekin har kuni oddiy xalq ko'radigan kinolar именно крутится только вокруг этих келинок и этих стереотипов, что келинка должна все сделать, подметать, и то, что вот эта стерва qaynanashka тоже стереотипная. Birinchidan, что я хочу сказать. Любая идея, которая пропагандируется, она заходит так легко в вашу голову, потому что эта идея, чуть-чуть, вот seed of the idea is already in your mind. So you already have a thought that, you know, the stereotypes are a little bit true, like Yelinkas are like this, Kainanas are shitty. You already have that in your mind somewhere. That's why when you see this in the movie, you're like, okay, and you don't even question it because you know that's normal for you. And seeing that repeatedly just confirms your limited stereotypical belief, and because you keep on feeding on that idea and belief over and over again, this like точно and permanently beton qilib yozilib qo'ygan уже miyalarga, что келинки вот такие вот твари, кайнана твари и все твари, кроме мужика этого маменькиного сынка. Ведь вы думаете, да ладно, что там фильм, есть фильм, это ничего не значит. Дело в том, что для вас, может быть, ничего не значит, но не забываем, что Узбекистан, да, hamma sizga o'xshab умный emas, lekin siz ham умный bo'lishingiz mumkin, lekin тупой ham bo'lishingiz mumkin. Я ничего не говорю. Но дело в том, что многие люди здесь are uneducated. Не все люди обладают critical thinking. И те, которые не обладают critical thinking и находятся в таком закрытом месте, как Узбекистан, они очень легко поддаются таким идеям. Whatever propagandistic ideas they see on TV influences their actions in real life. So if they see how women are being mistreated in Uzbek families, they will mistreat their own wife in the family. And they're like, oh, that's completely normal. Everyone in Uzbekistan does it. And the women themselves also will think the same thing. Ой, как в этом шоу, которое я показала, женщины тоже, знаете, не могут держать язык во рту или что за зубами, что они там говорят. Поэтому заслужила, думаю, один шапалак. Ну, половину шапалака, может быть. Или два твердых, или один мягкий шапалак. Part 2. The villainization of Muslims and Arabs in movies. Always two Arab men in movies. One of them is stupidly rich and is in love with some kind of American blondie girl. And the second one is either a terrorist or barbaric. Women are also portrayed in two different ways. So one Arabic woman can be belly dancing and performing for men and only them for their pleasures, very submissive, multiple wives. And the second version of them is them wearing a hijab but feeling oppressed. When in reality, some women want to be covered. Сколько фильмов вы смотрели, и всегда все крутится вокруг Америки.
You will once again be fighting for our freedom.
Always America, like end of the world, America. War, America. Always the heroes, America. This is called white saviorism, where movies portray Westerners as the only people who can solve the problem, even though the problem does not concern them at all. So if there's a war happening in Iran inside the country, they're like, oh, it is our responsibility to go and help them because we are the only good, amazing heroes there are. Nobody asked for your help. Go go help your own country first, okay? Next thing that repeats a lot in movies is dehumanization. So when they are showing like American soldiers, they portray and show an emotional attachment to this soldier. So they're like, the soldier is either a father or someone's brother, someone's husband, and he has a whole backstory and he has full shots of his death, his crying and everything. But then there's Iraqi soldiers who get nothing. No backstory, nothing, so their life doesn't matter. Although they were also a character in a movie, they just died and then nothing. Everyone forgets about them. You may think that this is a minor detail of the movie, like why would they show that if he's not the main character? But bro, this means a lot. Like it goes into your subconscious. Part 3, pro-war propaganda. Everybody knows that the US government, first of all, is shitty as hell. Second of all, Hollywood besties. Есть несколько масштабных способов манипулировать людьми. Первое — это религия. Второе — это фильмы. Третье — это медиа и все остальные социальные платформы. Не зря все политические лидеры использовали фильмы, чтобы показать вот крутость своей страны или показать правду со своей стороны. Хоть никакого factual evidence нету, настоящий мир и что происходит в их фильме, но они показывают это через свою призму, чтобы заставить всех остальных поверить в их правду. Вопрос: вы смотрели военные фильмы? Did you know that most movies, most war-like movies, are funded by the Department of Defense and Pentagon? Not all movies, but most of the movies, most popular movies that you know of, because they need military equipment for the movie or they need funding. And the thing is, when you need military equipment, the Department of Defense is not going to just give it for free because out of goodwill, no. But because if they give you their equipment, they can get your script and change it to whatever they want to. So if there in the script it says that the US government fucking sucks, they can change that. Замазка білем де учерып, я uzun fikrini yazıp koyat просто. И вот. И таким образом они контролируют narrative, the story, they control it. Теперь я расскажу про 3 фильма, где явно выражены пропагандистские идеи. Первый фильм — это American Sniper. Вы наверняка видели, особенно мужики. Я не отрицаю, я сама тоже смотрела военные фильмы и как полюбила их. Фильм похож на просто такой эмоциональный фильм и рассказ про одного солдата и про его жизнь, про то, что он прожил, убил многих людей и бла-бла-бла. Может быть, его сожаление, но нифига. It's basically a 2-hour movie about how awesome it is to be in war and Islamophobia and white saviorship. Фильм про войну в Ираке. Кстати, скажу, много раз, когда Америка проигрывает войну, или проиграл уже, или не может убедить в правоте, в правосудии нет, in the justification of their actions, they usually make a movie from their point of view so that the viewers can believe their story and then believe that, okay, now the war is justified, now I understand why we're fighting and that everything is great. So the same thing happened in Vietnam and in Iraq. So America was losing the war. And the people were like, okay, why are we even in war? Is this even good or bad? People are dying. And then America's like, wait a second, I know how to fix this. Hollywood, please, let's make a movie and show how we are the best and Iraq is the worst. Этот Крис Тупица calls Iraqis savages. Это, кстати, один из способов of dehumanization. This is taught in the army. That's a separate topic that I want to talk about in a podcast because it's very interesting. If you go, I'm too excited. Not in a good way, but not in a bad way either. But in a research way, you know what I mean? But how the army brainwashes soldiers, that is a very interesting topic. Back to what I was talking about. So he calls them savages and, counts how many people he killed and celebrates it. Like, сегодня в неделю я убил вот столько. А сколько ты убил? Лузер. Кстати, один из психологических моментов тоже, когда главный герой показывает его историю, его семью, backstory and everything, and then you have this emotional connection, you have this relatability, right, to this person, and then when his friends die, American friends, by trying to kill innocent women and children because they think that they're a threat somehow, not just injuring them, but actually killing them, shooting them in the head, and yeah. But we feel sorry for this white man for some reason. This is a very good tactic. But the craziest thing is, remember the 9/11 situation in 2001? The thing is, they showed, although it's not factually true at all, what they did was крысы. Они взяли вот эту сцену, как башни вот эти близнецов падают, и потом сразу же следующая сценка — это про Ирак. Вот война в Ираке, и иракцев показывают прям. То есть таким образом они хотели показать, что они взаимосвязаны, хотя никакой связи между ними не было. Они даже не нашли какую-то связь точную между Осама бен Ладен и этими близнецами, но они все равно пошли в Афганистан, используя эту причину. But what they don't talk about is the Iraq War killed over 1 million Iraqis, displaced 4.5 million, and left 5 million children orphaned. Но такой фильм не показывают, а все плачут за этого white man, который говорит, что мне жаль, что я не мог, что у меня не было времени убить побольше арабов. Да, никакого, ни капельки сожаления, но мы плачем за этого white man.
Tried hard to be proud of my service, but all I could feel was shame. And racism could no longer mask the reality of the occupation. These were people, these were human beings. The real terrorist was me, and the real terrorism is this occupation.
I have to ask this question, but are there any kills you regret?
No. Not at all. I really don't care what they think of me. It's not a problem taking out someone who wants your people dead. That's not a problem at all.
That's how propaganda works. It manipulates your information and hides the truth. Война миров Z, Война миров 2, или что там, несколько частей все смотрели. Помним эту сцену, где в Израиле 500 людей, именно там у них гигантская стена. Retake. Помним, что у них гигантская стена, и они там поют песни, и бла-бла-бла. The Israeli apartheid wall shows the Israeli people like they are protecting humanity with this amazing wall of theirs, right? So that the zombies don't come in. But in reality, this apartheid wall is keeping millions of oppressed Palestinians from their rights, from their freedom. Вот таким образом Голливуд пытается вас заставить любить вот этого опрессора и ненавидеть victimов за то, что они прошли через стену. И последнее, I know that this is gonna trigger some people and you're gonna hate me after this, but it's Marvel movies. Именно после фильма «Капитан Марвел», где романтизируется война, военная жизнь, именно для женщин в Department of Defense начали побольше женщин участвовать, то есть начали подаваться побольше людей. То есть there was an increase of some kind of percent, I don't remember, but for American Sniper, by the way, there was a 500% increase in the amount of people that were applying for the army after that movie, because I'm telling you, they romanticize the army, and you know, they play with men's ego. They're like,
you can be the hero. I know that you can do it. You're the man, and men are supposed to fight for their country and be patriotic. Although the country themselves don't give a fuck about you, but who cares? But you still have to die for it. And then men are like, really? Okay.
And then they go and get themselves killed. Инопланетные какие-то существа приходят именно в Америку, и вот эти герои спасают, белые герои спасают. Вы заметили, что все герои белые. А даже если и есть черные, они какие-то второстепенные помощники этих людей. То есть у Доктора Стрэнджа был этот китаец или азиат, скажем, у Айронмена был этот черненький. Короче, они всегда играют второстепенную роль, типа как помощник, но не главный. Вот Черная пантера — это, слава богу, что-то другое, да? Эти инопланетные существа — это олицетворяет foreign people. Even if these aliens come to the world, it's always America that deals with it. Always white people, white heroes, Marvel, that deal with the danger to the whole world. So this just gives you the idea that, okay, so America has everything under control. Even though you think that this is just a movie and it's nothing serious, I'll forget about it, it still goes inside deep there. Это о том, кому дает голос и кого держит в Damn it, Russian. It's about who gets control in the narrative and who gets silenced. Were you silent or were you silenced?
I was silent. Were you silent or were you silenced?
Overall, movies shape how we see the world, ourselves and other people, and the world around us. They normalize violence, justify oppression, and dehumanize entire groups of people. Говорю ли я вам перестать смотреть фильмы? Абсолютно нет. Смотрите в свое удовольствие, ребята, сколько хотите попкорн, берите, шоколадку, чипсяры и смотрите. Но critically смотрите, like with open mind смотрите, like don't forget to think critically. Also, we were programmed not to have critical thinking, but it's also your responsibility to get out and think. I'm not saying that all movies are propaganda. I'm just saying to watch carefully with intention. Easy to believe whatever you're seeing, especially if you don't know what is being talked about. Like, for example, if they talk about war and you've never personally experienced war or never researched about it, of course you're going to believe whatever they show you. Oh, so that's how war works. Okay, so white people are good and Arabs are bad. That's what happens when you don't research, when you don't read, when you don't think. You can enjoy movies and the art of movies when you think critically and remove everything extra that is unnecessary there and actually enjoy the movie as an art. Also, art makes you think, while propaganda thinks for you. And as Malcolm X warned, if you're not careful, the media will have you hating the oppressed and loving the oppressors. На этом все, мои дорогие ребята. Я надеюсь, это не очень длинный подкаст сейчас будет, пока мне надо отредактировать. Ну, короче, следующий мой подкаст будет более light. Поэтому You cringe. Erase that. Cut it. Bye.